Top 10 Adventure, Fantasy, Action, Romance, Anime Recommendations. In today's video, we'll be ranking the top 10 adventure /fantasy /action /romance anime recommendations, with each anime spanning as much of these genres as possible. Be sure to take note, as there is definitely an anime in here that will interest you. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. Number 10, Katanagatari. At the beginning of the list, we have Katanagatari. Set in Edo era Japan, this anime is filled with multiple sword fighting styles. Shichika Yasuri practices a unique one, called Kyoto-ryu, a technique in which the body of the user is wielded as a blade. The seventh head of the Kyoto-ryu school, Shichika, lives quietly in exile with his sister Nanami, until the wildly ambitious strategist Togame barges in on their lives. She requested that Shichika help her gather the 12 unique swords, or deviant blade, for the shogunate. Shichika accepts, interested in the girl herself rather than the petty politics, thus setting out on a journey. Standing in their way are fierce wielders of these legendary weapons, as well as other power-hungry entities who seek to thwart Togame's objective. Still, Shichika is powerful enough to stop all the adversaries that face him. This adventure-filled anime also contains action and fantasy with a hint of romance, and it is a lovely anime to watch, so be sure to check it out. Number 9, Strike the Blood. The world currently has 3 primogenitors, who are the most powerful vampires. The 4th primogenitor, the world's strongest vampire said to only exist in legends, appears in the demon district of Itogami Island as Kojo Akatsuki, an ordinary-looking high school student. It is not long before his quiet life is disrupted and he is thrust into the center of attention. Fearing his power, the Lion King organization sends in an attack mage known as the Sword Shaman for observation and, if necessary, obliteration. For some reason, the mage chosen was an apprentice sword shaman girl by the name of Himerago Yukina. Forced together by circumstances, the two form an alliance and develop a romantic relationship as Kojo comes to terms with his powers and uses them to maintain balance in the world and protect the city from various emerging chaotic forces while picking up beautiful girls on the way. This anime has 4 seasons and it keeps getting interesting with every episode. So if this is the kind of anime that you enjoy, be sure to check it out. Number 8, Trinity 7. This story follows Arata Kasuga as he finds out that his entire town and everybody in it has been destroyed by the breakdown phenomenon where the red sun stops shining. His world is artificially replaced by a magical grimoire that Hijiri Kasuga gave him. To investigate the phenomenon, Lilith Asami appears before Arata, whose artificial world suddenly disintegrates. He is then offered 2 choices, hand over the book or die. Pretty straightforward. He, however, chooses a third option, enrolling in the top-secret magic school Royal Biblia Academy, where 6 other magical users await him. Together with Lilith, they are the strongest mages in the school. The anime is filled with amazing fight scenes and a bit of fan service, which definitely translates to a great anime. Number 7, The Ancient Mage's Bride. The story follows Chisei Hattori, a 15-year-old Japanese girl sold for £5 million at an auction to a tall, masked gentleman. Abandoned at a young age and ridiculed by her peers for her unconventional behavior, she was ready to give herself to any buyer if it meant having a home to go back to. He leads her to a study where he reveals himself to be Elias Ainsworth, a magus. After a brief confrontation and a bit of teleportation magic, he whisks her away to his picturesque cottage in the English countryside. Greeted by fairies and surrounded by weird and wonderful beings upon her arrival, these events mark the beginning of Chisei's story as the apprentice and supposed bride of the Ancient Magus. The Ancient Magus Bride combines a lush fantasy world with hair-raising fights, as well as the romance that slowly blooms between the 2 protagonists. Number 6, Twin Star Exorcists. This anime is about Benio Adashino, a young prodigy exorcist, and the boy she stumbles into on her way to the summons of the Exorcist Union, Rokuro in Mado. Together with other exorcists, they work together to deal with the impurities of the parallel realm Magano. When these 2 exorcists witness a couple of children being stolen by a kagare, Benio rushes in to save them, dragging Rokuro along with her into Magano. Engaged in a fight where she is on the verge of being defeated, Benio is saved by Rokuro, revealing himself capable of being her rival in talent. This is before the two find out that they are destined to become the twin-star Exorcists and the future parents of the prophesied child who will save the world. It's an action-filled story centered on the growing relationship between the characters as they learn to balance each other's weaknesses and strengths. It is a detailed romantic tale set in a fantasy world and is one we would definitely recommend you guys to watch. Number 5. Inuyasha. This anime follows Kogami Higurashi, a 15-year-old girl whose normal life ends when a demon drags her into a cursed well on the grounds of her family's Shinto shrine. Instead of hitting bottom, she gets transported 500 years into the past during Japan's violent Sengoku period with the demon's true target, a wish-granting jewel called the Shikon Jewel reborn inside of her. After a battle with a revived demon, the jewel is accidentally shattered. Kogami then enlists the help of a young hybrid dog demon human named Inuyasha to help her collect the shards and prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Also accompanying them are the orphan fox demon Shippo, the intelligent monk Miroku, and the lethal demon slayer Sango. They must set aside their differences and work together to find the power-granting shards spread across feudal Japan and deal with the threats that arise. Number 4. Danmachi. Bel Cranel is a naive young man who hopes to become the greatest adventurer in the land. After a chance encounter with the lonely goddess Hestia, his dream became a little closer to reality. With her support, Bel embarks on a fantastic quest as he ventures deep within the city's monster-filled catacombs known only as the Dungeon. Death lurks around every corner in this cavernous depth of this terrifying labyrinth, and a mysterious power moves amidst the shadows. Defeating monsters, unlocking new stages, and leveling up, Bel is determined to develop into the hopes he has built for himself. Be sure to watch one of the greatest anime of all time of the story of the boy who wants to be the greatest adventurer. Number 3. The Rising of the Shield Hero. The 4 cardinal heroes are a group of ordinary men from modern-day Japan summoned to the kingdom of Melomark to become its saviors. Melomark is a country plagued by waves of catastrophe, and the 4 summoned heroes have been bestowed a sword, a spear, a bow, and a shield to deal with these catastrophes. Naofumi Iwatani, an otaku, becomes cursed with the fate of being the shield hero. Armed with a measly shield, Naofumi is belittled and ridiculed by his fellow heroes and the kingdom's people due to his weak offensive capabilities and lackluster personality. Being falsely accused, discriminated against, and hated by the people of Melomark for something he didn't do, he begins his journey of strengthening himself and his reputation. Will his reputation ever get better, or will he become a castaway for as long as he lives? Watch the anime and find out. Number 2. Sword Art Online. This anime follows the story of Kirito, a high school student who gets stuck in a game. In 2022, a VR MMORPG called Sword Art Online was released. It comes with a Nerve Gear helmet that stimulates the 5 senses, allowing players to experience control of their in-game character. One fateful day, 10,000 players log on to SAO, and they realize they can't log out. The creator tells them that they must beat all 100 floors of the game to be free. And if they die in the game or forcefully take off their Nerve Gear, they die in real life. Kirito tries to survive the game by becoming stronger, eventually befriending Asuna and falling in love with her. An anime filled with romance, adventure, and action built in a fantasy world. This anime is quite popular within the anime community, so if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. Number 1. Yona of the Dawn. In the number 1 spot, we have Yona of the Dawn. Having lived a life filled with luxury and ease, Princess Yona has been sheltered from the problems of the seemingly peaceful kingdom of Koka. However, the death of her father and the betrayal of her cousin Suwon places Yona's life in mortal peril. Forced to escape only with Sonhak, who is both her childhood friend and bodyguard, the naive princess soon finds out that Koka is not the idyllic place that she expected it to be. Poverty, strife, and corruption run rampant, making reclaiming the throne nothing more than a wishful fantasy given the kingdom's current state. Watch as Yona tries to discover a way to save her kingdom. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. So what did you guys think of our list? Did you agree with it, or you guys have anime of your own that you think should have been on this list? If you do, please do tell us in the comments down below, and if there's enough suggestions, we might just make a part 2. Like always, please do like and subscribe as this helps out the channel a lot, and be sure to click that bell icon to get notified the next time we drop another top 10 video. We'll be back with more amazing content, fellow geniuses, so stay tuned and see you soon.